Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Radha Kundri Hare Radha Kundri Hare Radhe, Radha Kundri Hare Radha Kundri Hare Radhe, Radha Kundri Hare Radha Kundri Hare Radhe, Radha Kunj Bihari Radha Kunj Bihari Radhe, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva Mai Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva Mai Subhadra, Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Balagopal, Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Balagopal, Jaya Srinath Ji, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Jai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Gaur Hari Bol. Jai Nam Sankirtana ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nandapoti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, 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 Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna. So, welcome. We sit here in between the auspicious days of Janmashtami and Radhashtami. Exactly right in the middle. Last Friday was Shri Krishna Janmashtami. And this coming Friday is Radhashtami. So we'll discuss a little bit from Bhagavad Gita today and maybe a little bit about Radhashtami in preparation for that. So one first question, anybody remember which verse we discussed last time? Big quiz. I think 7. Is that right? Was it 7?
I heard it was 9.
Huh?
Yeah, I think last time was 7.
Last one was 7?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll discuss 8 then today. So, chapter 10, verse 8. So in 7, well, in the beginning of this chapter, what is the title of this chapter?
The opulence of the absolute.
Opulences of the Absolute. So Krishna explains in text 7, what is the benefit of knowing the opulences of Krishna? Why Krishna would speak about his opulences? That seems self-serving. Right? Let me tell you about my opulences. Right? The foolish will consider Krishna to speak like this. Oh, Krishna is glorifying himself. But in text 7, he gives why knowing Krishna's opulences are so important. So what is the benefit of knowing Krishna's opulences?
You become attracted to him.
You become attracted to Krishna. By knowing the greatness of Krishna, our attraction increases. Right? Just like if we know the greatness of anybody, we naturally develop some affinity, particularly when there are great qualities, nice qualities. Somebody who is very sweet, very loving, very intelligent, maybe very powerful, combined with all of that, it becomes very sweet. Right? And we have some desire then to know that person, maybe to become friends with that person. Like that. So when our attraction to Krishna increases, then what results?
Bhakti, wanting to serve
Bhakti.
him.
Then you want to serve him, right? Because service is an expression of
Love.
If I love somebody, then I render service to them. That is the natural. Right? If I love somebody, I can say, oh, I love you. That is nice. But if I really love them, I'll do something for them to try to please them. That is the deeper expression of love. So that is bhakti. That's why Prabhupada said devotional service. Service is an expression of our love. Well, we love whatever we're attracted to. And the opulences attract us. So putting it all together, Krishna says in the 7th verse, one who is factually convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in, but what kind of devotional service? Unalloyed. Which means pure devotional service. Mean one renders service to Krishna without any expectation of anything in return. Right? When I render service to Krishna and I have no expectation of return, that is Ananya Bhakti. That is the highest platform of bhakti. So our acharyas commenting on this verse say that actually one cannot come to the platform of pure bhakti until one is convinced factually of Krishna's opulences. So now, why is Krishna speaking his opulences? To bring us to the platform of pure bhakti. Because that is the greatest one can achieve. There's nothing greater one can achieve than pure devotional service. But is it easy to render service to Krishna without any desires? No. To render pure devotional service, is it easy? No, it's not so easy. But by studying this chapter and praying to Krishna, to have faith in these opulences, one can come to the platform of pure devotional service. So that is why Krishna is speaking this chapter, the opulences of the Absolute. He has just spoken in the 9th chapter the most confidential knowledge. And the conclusion of that chapter was, Man manava man bhakto majaji mam namaskuru. That you should do these 4 things. Become my devotee. Now to inspire us to become his devotee, he is speaking these verses. So verse 8, 9, 10 and 11, these are very important verses in the Bhagavad Gita. They are called the Chatur Shloki verses. So these are the 4 verses. These 4 verses summarize the whole Bhagavad Gita. So somehow we are fortunate to begin the Chatur Shloki verses today on this auspicious time. So we'll read this very famous verse. Most of you must know this verse, or maybe have heard it many times. So we'll read verse 8 in the purport, and then discuss a little bit. Somebody wants to read the verse and purport? You can take turns.
I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Purport?
Oh, me? Okay. Purport. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya, who knows how to apply these teachings, can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. In the Atharva Veda, Gopala Tapani Upanishad, it is said, Yo Brahmanam Vedamhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedam Cha Gapyayati Shma Krishna.
Good.
It was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past.
Then again, the Narayana Upanishad says, Atha Purusho Have Narayano Akameyata Praja Srijayati. Then the Supreme Personality, Narayana, desired to create living entities. The Upanishad continues, Narayanad Brahma Jayate, Narayanad Prajapati Prajayate, Narayanad Indro Jayate, Narayanad Ashto Vasavo Jayante, Narayanad Ekadasha Rudra Jayante, Narayanad Dvadashaditya. From Narayana, Brahma is born, and from Narayana, the patriarchs are also born. From Narayana, Indra is born. From Narayana, the 8 Vasus are born. From Narayana, the 11 Rudras are born. From Narayana, the 12 Adityas are born. This Narayana is an expansion of Krishna.
It is said in the same Vedas, Brahmanyo Devaki Putraha. The son of Devaki Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Narayana Upanishad 4. Then it is said, Eko Vai Narayana Asinna Brahma, Naishano Napo Nagni Somau Neme Vai Aprithvina Nakshatrani Nasurya. In the beginning of the creation, there was only the Supreme Personality Narayana. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no moon, no heaven and earth, no stars in the sky, no sun. Maha-Upanishad 1.2. In the Maha-Upanishad, it is also said that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped. In the Moksha Dharma section of the Mahabharata, Krishna also says, Prajapatim cha rudram chapi, aham eva shajami vai, tavhi mam na vijanito, mama maya vimohito. The patriarchs, Shiva and others are created by me, though they do not know that they are created by me because they are deluded by my illusory energy. In the Varaha Purana, it is also said, Narayanaha paro devas, tasmat jatas chaturmukhaha, tasmat rudro bhavad devaha, sacha sarva gnatam kataha. Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born. Lord Krishna is the source of all generations, and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says, because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. Everything is under me, no one is above me. There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master with references from Vedic literature engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness and becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretations on Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness.
So the verse again, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. This is a very nice verse, very complete verse. So, what does Srila Prabhupada dedicate almost the entire purport to? What is Srila Prabhupada speaking about?
Lord Vishnu.
Lord Vishnu.
Mostly like how everything is coming from Krishna.
Krishna is the source.
How Krishna, Vishnu is the source, right? And why is Prabhupada spending so much time in this purport on this topic?
Because Krishna is saying everything spiritual or material is emanating from him.
So then why Prabhupada is giving so many references from so many different scriptures, right? Krishna's just said it. So why Prabhupada is quoting from all the different Upanishads and Mahabharata and all of this?
Well, aren't there people who believe like the Brahma or Shiva are the original? So he needed to specify, it's actually Krishna / Narayana.
Yes. there's much confusion about, right? Who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? You know, when we say there's Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they're the three gods. You hear that all over and over and over again, right? Or Brahma is the creator, must be the source, right? He is Aja, unborn, so he is the source. So like this, there's so much confusion out there. So Prabhupada is giving much scriptural evidence beyond what Krishna is saying right here in the Bhagavad Gita. Because Krishna leaves nothing to miss. He says, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. So what is not included within spiritual and material worlds? Anything is not included? Huh? Anything? Everything is good. But then he goes further. What does he say? Mata sarvam vartate. What does that mean?
Everything emanates from
Everything. Sarvam. Everything emanates from me. In case we are confused whether spiritual and material worlds includes everything, he gives further conclusion that everything emanates from me. Okay? So in the context of this chapter, what does this mean? In the context of the opulences, what is the conclusion of everything emanates from me?
Krishna is the proprietor of everything.
He is the proprietor of everything. And again, specifically in context for this chapter.
If what that means is everything opulent, anything that you think of as opulence is there in him many times over. That's why it's coming from him.
So Krishna is the source of all opulences. Right? If everything emanates from him, then opulences are something that means it comes from Krishna. Right? So Krishna is trying to bring us to the platform of pure bhakti. Right? Pure bhakti? Pure bhakti means anya bilashita shunyam. Shunyam. No other desires. So, let's say I have partial bhakti, just for simple logic, 50 to 50, okay? So 50%, I love you, Krishna. 50%, I love cricket. Okay, so I'm 50-50. I am not ananya bhakti, I am mixed bhakti. Okay? So why I have some attachment to cricket?
Because we're conditioned souls.
Conditioned soul. So there is some attraction that exists in cricket, right? Some rasa is there, some positive happiness is there, right? So what precludes me from going to pure bhakti is I have some taste here. But Krishna says, I am the source of everything. Which then by scientific definition means whatever taste one gets from cricket, where does that ultimate taste come from? Krishna. So if I factually understand that, then where will all of my attention go? To Krishna. But you may say, well, no, the taste is in both. So then maybe you're mixed. But we know one thing. The source of anything is more full than the effect. Mm-hmm. Like if I put my charger in this socket here, right? There's power being drawn from this plug. But whatever power comes from that plug is just a portion of the power that exists in the generating station. Right? That is the source. This is the effect. This can never have more power than what the source has. Right? By very factual conclusion, you cannot draw more power from this than what exists in the source. So Krishna being the source of everything means the greatest rasa, the highest happiness exists with him. Whatever it is that we have some attachments to in the material world, that taste that we're experiencing, actually it resides in Krishna in complete, in many, many more times quantity. Because he is the source of everything. So whatever opulence is, whatever things attract our attention within the material world, Krishna possesses in full and complete. So in this opening verse of Chaturshloki verse, he is summarizing his opulence, saying, it's all within me. I am the source of it all. So, if one knows this, then in the second sentence, what is the result if I know everything that I am aspiring for, everything that I am attracted to resides within Krishna, then what is the logical conclusion? What should I do?
Engage in devotional service.
Yeah. Go to Krishna. Be engaged with Krishna. So what does Krishna say in the second sentence? Iti matva bhajante mam. Buddha bhava samhita. Says, those wise who perfectly know this, engage in my devotional service. That is the logical conclusion. That if Krishna is the source of all happiness, all pleasure, and he is giving freely so much, he's already said in the 9th chapter that by just offering a leaf, a fruit, a flower, or water, one can please Krishna unlimitedly. So he does not create such a high barrier, such extreme qualification is needed. No. Just give me a leaf, a fruit, a flower, or water. And with that, you can engage in a loving relationship with the source of everything. So, Krishna is going to conclude this chapter by saying a similar statement. That everything you see around is but just a spark of my overall splendor. Meaning, what we see is just a fraction. Like the power we see, if I stick my finger in it, I'll feel big power, right? But this plug is just a fraction of the power that exists within the whole generation station. So like that, whatever we see in the material world, it is just a tiny fraction of the opulences that exist with Krishna. So it's a very powerful verse, because if you know this, there's only one logical conclusion. Right? Only one logical conclusion. Why else I would be attracted to anything in the material world? If that rasa, whatever it is I'm enjoying, it exists with Krishna fully. So this is the important aspect. And what's important here is this knowledge. When is knowledge complete?
When it is applied?
When it is applied. Gyan is complete when it is vigyan. Realized knowledge. So now I know Krishna is the source of everything. He is. Everything is coming from him. I have some knowledge. But is that complete? It's complete when I begin to act in that knowledge. And that is why Krishna says that the wise who perfectly know this do what?
Worship him.
Engage in my service. Right? So this knowledge must lead to action. Then the knowledge has value. Then it is complete. And so what is Srila Prabhupada's recommendation at the very end of this purport? What does he tell us at the end of this purport? The very last line.
A Krishna conscious person should not be bewildered by fools.
Mm-hmm.
He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretations on Bhagavad Gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness.
So how should we proceed? Determination and firmness. So, if I have full faith in this statement Krishna is making, I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds, everything emanates from me. If I have full faith in that, then what will be my determination? How strong will my determination be?
100%.
100%. It'll be unbreakable, right? So how many of us have full unbreakable determination in Krishna consciousness?
I have a desire.
You have the desire, that's a good start. Okay? But we don't have full determination. So why? Because our faith in this statement is not solidified. Because if we had full faith, then we would have determination and firmness. So sometimes we wonder, how to become more determined in Krishna consciousness. How to become more steady, more firm in our practice. Well, we have to increase our faith in these statements. Because the facts are very clear. Whatever it is that is preventing us from practicing pure devotional service, meaning whatever it is that is taking some of our mind share, any material attachments, hankerings, that rasa is very insignificant compared to the rasa that exists with Krishna. So when we approach our material attachments, we should remind ourselves, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Wait a minute, why am I getting cricket rasa? Krishna has full rasa. Right? So by remembering these verses, it can help at least speak us out of those attachments. Right? Sometimes we have to talk ourselves out of it. Right? Because it's natural. Because as Mataji said very nicely, we have conditioning. We have for millions of lifetimes become conditioned to taste the sour fruits of the material world. So now we are in the process of unconditioning ourselves. So it's natural. But by remembering these statements and putting the logic together, wait a minute. Okay, yes, I'm getting some happiness from this video game, but it's nothing compared to Krishna consciousness. Right, Arjun?
And it's limited.
It's limited. Yeah, it's temporary. It has all these features that are completely opposite of Krishna consciousness, which is eternal and unlimited. Right? So this is a very important verse, and the conclusion is very clear. Devotional service. And in firmness and steadiness. And what is the best and most important way to remove our conditioning? Chanting. It is the most powerful cleansing agent. So we can aspire to develop steadiness in our chanting. If there is steadiness and consistency in our chanting, there will be our steadiness in Krishna consciousness will also follow. Even if it comes to the point of mechanically bringing us to the point of steadiness. Yes, it may not come from natural inspiration initially. That will come. The natural, spontaneous desire to chant the holy names of the Lord. That will come. But until then, we can try to regulate our chanting to come to a very fixed point of chanting the holy names. With some steadiness and determination there, our faith in this statement will increase, and then our attachments to all of the other material hankerings will naturally dissipate. And our real taste will emerge. So making some commitment, strong commitment to our sadhana, specifically our chanting, will accelerate this unconditioning process, removing this condition. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he only gave us 8 verses. His whole life was a walking instruction, but he only spoke 8 verses. And what is the single topic of those 8 verses? The only thing he speaks about in these 8 verses? Chanting. Chanting. And the opening line, Cheto Darpana Marjana. We sing it every day. To cleanse the mirror of the heart. How to Kirtaniya Sadahari, always chant. Must maintain this mood of humility, tolerance, offering respects, not expecting respects. Like this, he's bringing one to this point of unconditional love. Right? Yes, Krishna, I'll chant your holy names when my schedule is light, when my body is fit, when everything else. That's not unconditional. Unconditional is rain or shine. Yeah? So this is the opportunity we have by practicing this, and Prabhupada's comment is very strong at the end. Proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness. Armed with the knowledge that Krishna is the source of everything. Whatever we are attracted to in this world, remember, Krishna has it in full. And it is the faith in these opulences that will bring us to pure bhakti. You had a comment about that? No?
Oh yeah, how did you know? Okay, so on days where we do a lot of kirtan, does that count toward our 16 rounds, or is it separate?
It is separate. They're both very important, but our japa is the important sadhana practice, and then the sankirtana, in the Harinam, is an additional aspect of devotional service. But our japa should be very concentrated, very focused, chanting on our japa beads, focused on our chanting, right? Like, sometimes, we may engage in chanting while we are doing housework, or we may engage in chanting while we are driving to the office, or we may engage in chanting while we're walking down the hall. That is great. We should chant all the time. But that is not counted as our japa. Our japa is dedicated, focused, attentive chanting. That is our japa. So, our minimum 16 rounds, not maximum. We treat it as maximum, but it is minimum. There's no greater feeling, right, than when all these beads are down. See you tomorrow. But that is in our conditioned state. That is natural. That's okay. But stay fixed in your determination. But our japa, we should try to protect. Like a castle. A castle has, important family members residing within it. It has jewels, the treasury residing within it. So what do they build around the castle?
A moat.
A moat. Right? There's a water they dig around. Why do they dig a moat around the castle? To give water views? Protection. From what?
Invaders.
From invaders. Are we protecting invaders to our sadhana? We should put a moat around our sadhana. It is the most precious jewel, our most precious possession we have, and it is our chanting. So we have to build a moat around our sadhana, not letting anything invade our chanting. And what's the worst invasion of our chanting?
Our cell phones.
The cell phones. So we turn it off, put it away, we build a moat around our sadhana. Just as the kings built moats around their castles. Because that is our most precious aspect of devotional service. And if we stay fixed and determined in that, everything else will come very quickly, very naturally. So we can try to protect our sadhana very carefully. Don't let anything invade it, interrupt that. Maya will give us all kinds of reasons to interrupt it. She'll be sending invaders from all angles, finding the weak point. You're tired, you had a long day yesterday, the snooze is right there, to, this message you have to return it. It all can wait. Give your hour and a half, 2 hours to nice sadhana and see how Krishna reciprocates. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you explain what is the meaning of samadhi in terms of, is it samadhi a state that we achieve through chanting, or is it samadhi actually something that?
Samadhi is intensified remembering. Our goal is to Vishnu Shmaranam. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. Right? So, samadhi is an intensified state of remembering Krishna. In our chanting, our goal is to be remembering Krishna. But it may happen for only a few moments during our chanting. That's okay. Meaning, try again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day.
This verse, for me, it happens very rarely, but sometimes verses just come into my mind when I'm chanting or after I'm chanting. Then I look them up and find them.
It's Krishna's inspiration. It happens.
This verse is also near 10, 20, 108.
Yes, oh yes, see, nice, 108. Any other comments, questions? Okay. So in the next verse, Krishna will discuss next week that what do the pure devotees then do? Right? So the pure devotees engage in devotional service. What is their experience? And we'll see what they do. Katha. They speak about Krishna. And what is their experience? Bliss and happiness. Tushanticha, ramanticha. Great happiness. How many of us want happiness? We all do. Where does it come from?
Krishna.
Krishna. He is the source of it all. And it is experienced only through Ananya Bhakti, pure devotional service. Okay? So we'll transition for a short discussion on Radhastami. So we'll be celebrating the appearance of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani's importance in our process of devotional service is very elaborately described in Shastra. Srila Rupa Goswami gives and explains the great exalted position of Srimati Radharani in the Nectar of Instruction, in glorifying the different devotees. Right? Rupa Goswami explains the gradation of devotees, and as he explaining higher and higher devotees. And who is the topmost devotee of Krishna? And what is the metric that defines topmost devotee? By what criteria is it determined? There's only one criteria that determines one's advancement in devotion.
Once we are attached to Krishna, I want to please him.
Ability to please Krishna. So nobody can please Krishna more than. So, if I want to learn how to play tennis, I have to learn from somebody who knows how to play tennis more than me, right? Better than me. And if I want to become an expert tennis player, then I have to go to the more expert player, right? And if I go to the most expert player, then I have a chance to become also some expert. So if I want to learn how to please Krishna, where I'll go to learn how to please Krishna?
Srimati Radharani.
Because she knows how to please Krishna more than anybody. So Gaur Mohan De, the father of Srila Prabhupada, anytime any sadhu came to their house, he would host them very nicely, receive them nicely, give them prasad, and then the sadhus would, offer some blessings. And what blessing he would ask?
Please bless that my son will be a great devotee of Srimati Radharani.
Please bless my son, Abhay Babu, that he will become a devotee of Srimati Radharani. Because, if you become a devotee of Srimati Radharani, you have some hope to become a devotee of Krishna. So our accessing Krishna is through Srimati Radharani. She is mother. We know. The way to get to father is through mother. Right? And who is Srimati Radharani? Another very mistaken concept. Radha and Krishna are not in our contorted mind, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend like this. That is our nonsensical understanding. Radha and Krishna are actually one manifested in two. They're one person manifested in two. Krishna's internal pleasure potency, the energy that gives happiness, this Haladini Shakti, that is personified in Radharani. When Krishna wanted to enjoy, he immediately personified his pleasure potency, and that is Srimati Radharani. So the engagements and interactions between Radha and Krishna, always have to remember, they are one manifested in two. So it is not like our material understanding of relationships. And that the foolish commentators on this topic will misconstrue. And so we have to be very, very careful, one, to even comment on the topic of Srimati Radharani. If you hear all of Srila Prabhupada's lectures during Radhastami, he'll give just this topic, and then he'll speak, we are not this body, we are spirit, soul, chant, chant, chant. Seriously, listen to all of his Radhastami lectures. He'll say just that. Radharani, personify Haladini Shakti, this, that. We approach Krishna for that. Chant, 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 you're not this body, you're a spirit, soul. That's it. Just speaking on the topic of Srimati Radharani takes great purity. But we can repeat what our acharyas have glorified about her position. And again, in the Nectar of Instruction, we see the great position of nothing is more dear to Krishna than Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani's entire existence, her only existence, is to please Krishna. She expresses that to such a severe or elevated consciousness that she says that if my devastation gives pleasure to Krishna, then my devastation is the source of my happiness. Now, how many of us can think like that to Krishna? We say, Krishna, please protect me, please give me freedom from all these things. And Srimati Radharani says, if my destruction gives you happiness, then my destruction is happiness. That is how selfless she is. So, we pray to Srimati Radharani on Radhastami that she can show us the path of devotional service and how to please. And she is standing in our temple like this, giving blessings. The blessings of devotional service. So we'll celebrate on Friday this most important day of the appearance of Srimati Radharani.
How can we prepare to celebrate?
How can we prepare to celebrate? Like any festival, we chant nicely, sincerely. We can read and study different scriptures. Reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very important. Render some practical service on this day is very important. So those are the best ways to celebrate the festival. And of course, honor wonderful prasadam. So there will be nice programs in the temple, starting with Mangalarti. We'll welcome her, pray for her blessings. And throughout the day, there will be nice activities into the evening. Any other? Yes, Prabhu?
Well, I was just going to say, you can also fast till noon, I think. Fast.
Yeah. Mother is saying there's no fasting on Radhastami. So, mothers don't require fasting. Krishna says midnight. Radharani is so merciful. So merciful, so sweet. Srimati Radharani is so merciful. She is so eager to introduce all of her lost children to Krishna, that if we pray to her, Radharani, I am being distracted by so many allurements in such a foolish way. I know aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate, but I'm not able to conceptualize it. I know it. I have gyan, but not vigyan. You help me. Help make that realized knowledge. Then see how she reciprocates. She can give us the potency. And remember, Radharani's love for Krishna is so extraordinary that Krishna himself does not understand it. He cannot comprehend the level and magnitude of her love. And thus, he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, to try to experience it himself. The all-knowing, he's the source of everything. Yet, the source cannot understand that, the extraordinary devotion of Srimati Radharani. And so in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we put great importance on our worship following in the footsteps of our mother, our eternal mother. Any other questions, comments, discussion? Yes.
I feel like I need to write my realizations, or at least read some Bhagavad Gita verses and write a little bit. Do you know if any guidance of like how we can write? Should we read a verse if I have realizations, write on it, or should we write our own understanding of what we read? How should we think about it?
We take the understanding of the verses from our acharyas.
Yeah.
Our own mental speculation is not so important. So there's a difference between realizations and understanding. The understanding comes from Guru Parampara. And that's why Prabhupada is guiding us in that last sentence. Be careful to be misguided by someone's, this is my understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Well, what I think or what you think is irrelevant. What is relevant is what our acharyas have taught us to understand. Because what we think is polluted, right? Just like if I have glasses and they are tinted red, everything I see and I perceive is tainted with red. Right? So if I'm looking at this Bhagavad Gita through the contamination of my heart, whatever I'm seeing is going to be contaminated. Okay? So better we take what someone with a pure, clean heart has seen and explain. And that's why Krishna says, Tadvidi paripatena pariprashnena sevaya upakdekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshina. Because they have had darshana tattva. They have seen the truth, they can show it to you. Who is they? The spiritual master, the guru. So when we write, we can write our own experiences. You know, our own in bliss. Oh, this verse has touched me in this way. I would like to apply it in this way. But if we start to get into the mode of this is my understanding or interpretation, we start to enter into a dangerous area. Because we are trying to interpret through our clouded vision. When a clouded vision, I cannot see everything in front of me. So, but the pure devotee coming in Guru Parampara, they have clarity of sight, so they can explain. So better we read the commentaries. Srila Prabhupada's purports are coming from commentaries in Bhagavad Gita, primarily from Srila Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur and Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan. So their commentary Srila Prabhupada is presenting to us. So we don't need to do any more analysis. But we can write how it is affecting us, how I might apply this teaching, how I might try to take steps. Those are nice things we can write about. Right? So be careful what we write about. It's okay? And it is nice to write because it solidifies our thoughts. It solidifies our consciousness, our understanding. Okay? Anything else? Okay, so we'll chant. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda. We'll chant.